Exciting news, Chief Detectives! The brand new Bust or Trust, a kids' mystery book, is coming out on the 12th of September and you can pre-order it now. Head to bustortrust.com for all the details. Hello and welcome to Bust or Trust, a kids' mystery podcast. I'm Tiernan.
And I'm Athena. Bust or Trust is the podcast where we unravel the world's greatest mysteries with help from you, our chief detectives.
We present all the best evidence and then ask you to decide. Which team are you on?
Are you a myth buster, like me?
Or are you a myth truster, like me? We look into all sorts of strange stories from around the world to find out what really happened, so that you can ask, is it real or is it false?
Is it fact or is it fiction?
Is this a llama or an alpaca?
Well, llamas are bigger with longer faces. Hang on, why is there a llama in Bust or Trust HQ?
I thought we could make some Bust or Trust willy jumpers.
Oh no, please make it leave. Oh, Tiernan!
Sorry. We'll tell you at the end of the show just how to get in touch so you can let us know if you're on Team Buster or the best one, Team Truster.
So, Chief Detectives, get ready to take notes and start putting together your case while we have a quick word with the grown-ups.
Exciting news for our Bust or Trust families and dog lovers. We have partnered with BarkBox to bring you a whole host of amazing treats and toys for your dog. Bark have a simple mission to make all dogs happy. Yes, all of them. And that's a plan we can get behind. So, stay tuned for exciting offers and treats ahead. Go to bustortrust.com and follow the links to buy from BarkBox. And every time you do, you'll not only be pampering your furry friend, but you'll also help us keep making more episodes of Bust or Trust. Oh, we could do some dog mysteries like Who's a Good Boy or Who Let You All Out? Woof! That's thank you in Doglish. Hello, Chief Detectives. We have a world first just for you. As you know, we have an amazing Bust or Trust book coming out very, very soon, and we are giving you the chance to win one.
So, we're having the very first international Bust or Trust drawing competition. To enter, draw, paint, or make us a picture of your favourite mystery. You could draw a chupacabra, or the ghostly Cohoke light shining through the woods. Maybe Bigfoot brushing its hair. It's up to you.
Oh, it is, but no haunted paintings, please. Ugh. When you've made your art, ask your grown-up to post it to Instagram and add the hashtag BustOrTrustArt to the post. The competition closes on the 29th of September, so time to get arting. And of course, we will pick the winner of the book at the start of October and let everyone know on our Instagram page. We can't wait to see what you create.
The case.
Do you like the sea, Athena?
Oh yeah, I do. Swimming in the sea is great.
But the sea is so deep. Aren't you afraid of what's in there?
I know what's in the sea already. Water. And me, if I'm swimming in it.
What about sharks? Killer whales? Those weird fish with the big teeth and the little light on their heads? Crabs?
You're scared of crabs?
They have claws for hands, Athena. Claws for hands. And you're also forgetting the subject of today's case. The Lusca. A deadly half-octopus, half-shark creature that is said to lurk in the Caribbean Sea near the Bahamas.
Well, firstly, you already know I don't think the Lusca is real. And secondly, if somehow it is real, it's meant to live near the Bahamas. I wish I was swimming in the Caribbean Sea, but unfortunately for me, I think it's even more unlikely that a Lusca will be found off the coast of England.
Well, maybe it goes there on holiday, enjoying the pinball machines and amusement arcades on the pier. I bet the Lusca would be brilliant at the grabby claw machine with all its tentacles.
How are you scared of crabs, but you like the grabby claw machine?
It's complicated, Athena. Anyway, let me tell our chief detectives what we know about the Lusca, and I suspect no one will be wanting to take a dip in the sea anytime soon, whether it's in the Caribbean or the English Channel. The Lusca is a giant cryptid, which is a creature or animal some people claim to have seen, but whose existence hasn't been proved by science. The Lusca is said to be a giant octopus or cuttlefish, but some sightings have reported it as a mix between a shark and an octopus, with a shark's head and powerful sucker-covered tentacles that reach over 75 feet. That's just a bit longer than a bowling lane.
I'm not sure I'd want to go bowling with a Lusca then. That feels like cheating to me.
I agree, and with 8 tentacles it would probably play across several lanes at once too, so no one else would get to have a go. What a spoil sport. The Lusca is said to live in the Blue Holes, an area of large, very deep sinkholes in the Caribbean Sea near Andros Island. The Blue Holes lead to an amazing network of underwater caves. But many people believe there's a Lusca near Cuba too, and another near the coast of Mexico.
There have been mentions of a giant octopus in the Blue Hole since the late 1800s, but the name Lusca wasn't used until 1957, when there was an unnamed report of a giant scuttle with tentacles over 200 feet long. That's not just the length of a bowling lane, but the whole street the bowling alley is on too. Since then, many sailors, fishermen and divers have claimed that the Lusca exists, but there is still no clear evidence for the strange sharktopus creature.
Some people believe that the Lusca is the ghost of a woman who drowned at sea and was transformed into a beast. Some say it's a type of mermaid, and others a type of kraken or underwater dragon.
But many experts think the tale comes from confused sightings of other sea creatures that do exist, or possibly even tricks of the light.
So, this week, Chief Detectives, you have to decide if the Lusca is real or not.
And I'm going to see if you ever get afraid of yourself, Tiernan.
What do you mean?
Well, sometimes you do act a bit crabby.
Oh, no. I think those sorts of jokes are just shellfish. So let's dive straight into the first piece of evidence that proves the Lusca exists.
First piece of evidence.
There have been many sightings of the Lusca since 1836, with fishermen, sailors, divers, journalists and government officials all claiming to have seen the tentacled beast. Here are just a few of the times that the Lusca has been spotted. The first encounter was in 1836, though it strangely wasn't reported until 27 years later when the journalist Bénédicte-Henri Revoil wrote about it in his book Pêche dans l'Amérique du Nord, or translated from the French, Fishing in North America. Revoil mentioned that an unnamed American captain in New York had told him that his ship was attacked by a kraken in the Bahamas.
I recognise this story. It was evidence in our episode about the kraken, another made-up sea monster. Isn't it cheating to use the same bit of evidence twice?
Well spotted, Athena. And no, it's not cheating because the kraken is a giant octopus kind of sea beast, just like the Lusca. It seems that because the ship was attacked in the Bahamas, that means it was likely a Lusca and not a kraken. It's just that no one had come up with the name Lusca by the time Revoil's book had come out in 1863. Revoil wrote that an American captain whom I knew well in New York told me that in 1836, being at landfall in the Lusca Islands, his ship had been attacked by a kraken, which, extending its gigantic arms, had reached up and dragged 2 of her crew into the sea. In vain had their comrades sought to rescue these 2 unfortunates from death, all their efforts were useless. The crew had, however, scored a partial victory, for with a hatchet, the chief helmsman had severed one of the arms of the polypus. This monstrous appendage was 3.5 meters long and the size of a man. So, those are some pretty big arms. I bet the Lusca is great at giving hugs, right?
I'm not sure anyone wants a hug from a Lusca, real or not.
Well, here's proof it is real. According to Revoil, he later saw the Lusca's chopped off arm in Barnum's American Museum, preserved in a jar of alcohol.
Barnum's American Museum was notorious for being full of fake items, so there's every chance the giant octopus tentacle was fake too.
OK, well, here's another one then. American sailor Frank Hurricane Clark spotted a giant octopus of unknown size around 500 miles east of the Bahamas in 1938. He said, "Then 500 miles east of the Bahamas, I lay becalmed for 3 days while a large squall slowly built up between me and land. I knew it was a hurricane. It was then that a giant octopus came near the tiny boat and was attacked by tiger sharks. I took cover in the cabin because that was one time I was afraid. You never saw such a thrashing and a churning in all your life. The sharks finally took him under. In 2009, American TV presenter Josh Gates was investigating the Lusca, and he spoke to an Andros fisherman who'd seen a giant tentacled creature while he was diving in the blue holes. He said, "I was down in the ocean blue hole, and as I checked it out, it just came up off the bottom, and it was mainly a murkyish, greyish-brownish colour. And then, behind it, I just saw a couple of tentacles rise above the bottom as it slowly turned around and went back in. It's at least 40, 50 feet. It's huge." And another fisherman told him he'd seen a shark-octopus creature. In that interview, he said, "We were fishing for Dorado and we happened to come across this strange animal. I thought it was a whale shark, but getting within 50 feet of it, found out it was a strange animal with tentacles and the head of a shark. The head was kind of similar to a mako shark, has a real pointed nose. The tentacles was the last thing we saw. The whole thing was about 8 feet. I'll always remember that until the day I die." Those are just a few of the many, many sightings of the Lusca, which prove it must be real.
These are all stories told to someone else, with no proof that what any of these people saw was a Lusca or anything other than a normal octopus. Here's the thing, Tiernan. Giant octopi do exist.
What is an octopi and can I eat it?
No, that's the proper term for more than one octopus. Well, actually, some people do eat octopus, but these ones are pretty big, so wouldn't be an easy snack. They can be up to 14 feet big, or the length of a large car. In fact, when all its tentacles are splayed out, it's more like 20 feet, so the size of a large car with
An octopus stuck to it?
Yeah, I guess so. They are found in the North Pacific Ocean, in the water near the west coast of America, all the way to Japan and China. Now, the Bahamas is in the North Atlantic Ocean, which isn't known for giant octopi. But Jeremy Wade, host of the popular television series River Monsters, investigated the Lusca and was certain that's what it must have been, a giant octopus. Wade believed that the way an octopus swims, where it forms a sort of cone shape as it goes forward, could make people mistake it for having a shark's face. And as octopi have no bones, they could easily get around squishing and squeezing through the blue holes and the underground caves beneath them. The other possibility is that the Lusca is a giant squid, which might not look like octopi, but they do have tentacles and are also very big, at 16 feet long. Giant squid are often eaten by sharks, so it's very rare for their remains to wash up ashore, meaning that they are very rarely sighted. So anyone who wasn't expecting to see one might have thought it was a strange shark-octopus monster.
Giant squid sound huge. But as you'll see in the second piece of evidence, I think it Lusca-like, this sharktopus is its own kind of special creature.
Second piece of evidence.
There are lots of stories of the Lusca attacking boats and divers. They all say that before it attacks, bubbles appear on the surface. Then it's been known to grab boats and onto the people on board to try and drag them under the surface. Joseph Manson Valentine was an entomologist, which means someone who studies insects. But he also had a particular interest in the paranormal. And on one trip to the Bahamas, he heard an account from a retired fisherman about how other people refused to fish in the blue holes because they were scared of the Lusca. Several of them had been pulled down under the water by something, and on one occasion, a large squid-like creature had climbed aboard the boat, forcing all the fishermen to leap off and swim to shore. More recently, in 2022, divers from Blacktip Island in the Bahamas were too afraid to enter the water after a couple of snorkelers went swimming, and something reached up from the depths and grabbed them with its tentacles. One diver went to take a picture, and the creature snatched their camera and disappeared. Several more reports of sightings followed.
Or, in the case of Blacktip Island, it might be a local prankster who was known for wearing a giant octopus costume at parties, and he was said by other residents to be wearing it again, just to scare people. The other, more serious reason people feel like they're being grabbed by a creature from the depths could be to do with an unusual effect caused by the sinkholes under the water. George Benjamin was an experienced diver, and he thought the stories of the Lusca may come from tidal surges, which is a rise in sea level because of pressure, and vortices or whirlpools that open up at the mouths of the blue holes. These would cause lots of bubbles to appear, and this could also affect passing boats or divers, often making them feel like they were being pulled under the surface.
That is very interesting, Athena, but a whirlpool looks like a whirlpool and not a sharktopus.
Which is why many experts think it's a combination of the effects caused by sinkholes and sightings of giant octopuses that together created the legend of the Lusca. Plus, it was a very handy tale to warn children or inexperienced divers from trying to explore underwater caves that are easy to get trapped or lost in.
Yeah, that does make sense. But what doesn't make sense is the final piece of evidence, which can only be proof of a Lusca.
Third piece of evidence.
On the evening of November the 30th, 1896, two young boys were cycling along Anastasia Island, a small island just off the northeast coast of Florida in the USA. They came across a huge mass of flesh on the beach, half buried in the sand. This became known as the St. Augustine monster. The boys thought it was a dead whale at first, but on a closer look, it was like nothing they'd ever seen before. The boys went to get the local doctor, Dr. DeWitt Webb, to examine it. Dr. Webb knew it was the remains of a very large animal, but wasn't sure what animal that was. It was pale pink, almost white in colour. Its skin was very rubbery, but also very tough. And most strangely, the part of the carcass they could see was over 18 feet long, and the doctor estimated it weighed around 5 tons, if not more. That's the same as 1 and a bit hippos.
Which bit?
Left leg?
Got it.
The doctor thought it was the remains of a giant octopus because it had several stumps where he assumed tentacles would have been, and another for a tail. But it was much bigger than any giant octopus anyone had ever seen before. So, was it the body of a Lusca?
No, it was the body of a whale, most likely a sperm whale.
Oh, well, that makes a change, Athena. I was certain you were going to say it was a bear swimming along in little goggles and a swimming hat. But one of the tests did show that it was a whale, and then further tests said it definitely wasn't a whale.
And then even further tests said it was. Just a big mass of whale blubber. So, still, no physical evidence of the Lusca.
Well, unless the Lusca is a floating pile of whale blubber.
That looks like a sharktopus.
I can imagine you can make whale blubber into all sorts of shapes, a bit like Play-Doh.
Oh, that's gross. What I want to know is when a creature is a mix of two different creatures, why is it always the most dangerous bits?
That is a very good question. What is that? What is that? That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Why is your head so small?
Fear me, adventurer, for your time is up now that you've stumbled on the fearsome Scorpodile.
Scorpo what? And you've got a silly name too. I can't wait to tell everyone about this.
No, be afraid. I am half scorpion, half crocodile. Two deadly creatures combined. You should be quaking in my presence.
Yeah, but which bit of the scorpion is deadly? The tail, right?
Yeah, I guess.
And which bit do you have?
The face.
What was that?
I've got a little scorpion face, okay? It's not funny.
And which bit of the crocodile?
Just the tail and none of the teeth. Or anything. But I can really swish it about. Look! Swish, swish!
And how is that dangerous to me?
Oh, you might trip up and graze your knee.
Right, well, thanks for the laugh. I'm going to get on my way now.
But I've got a really mean stare.
No, I'm good, thanks. Have fun, little face.
You'll be sorry when my friend hears about this. He's a rhinosp. Half rhino, half wasp. He's super deadly.
Bye. I've got to go this way. Ah! Ow, my knee! It's really grazed.
That's the last time anyone messes with the Scorpodile.
I think scorpediles do sound terrifying because you might faint from laughing if you saw one.
I'm not sure it would do well hiding in a river or in a desert, though.
I think the best one is the chief detective, the perfect combination of brilliant listener and expert sleuth. And this week, chief detectives, you have to decide.
Does the Lusca exist or not?
Time to recap the evidence.
Evidence recap.
The first piece of evidence is the sightings of the Lusca, starting all the way back in 1826, when an American captain said that his boat was attacked by a giant octopus in the Bahamas. Since then, there have been many, many sightings of large, mysterious creatures with tentacles in the area.
Experts think that even though they live in the North Pacific Ocean and not the North Atlantic where the Bahamas is, that somehow it could still be just a giant octopus, or maybe a giant squid which is native to that area.
The second piece of evidence are the reports of the Lusca attacking boats, fishermen and divers. Bubbles appear before they do, and tales tell of tentacles grabbing people and pulling them under the surface.
An American diver thought the bubbles came from an effect caused by the deep sinkholes, which create both pressure in the water and a whirlpool. This, combined with sightings of a giant octopus, could be the reason for the Lusca myth. And it warns people away from swimming in the blue holes, which can be dangerous.
The final piece of evidence is the St. Augustine monster, a huge carcass that washed up on a beach on an island off Florida in 1896. It was over 18 feet long, and experts at the time thought it was the body of a giant octopus, larger than any they had seen before.
But tests showed actually it was just a mass of whale blubber from a dead sperm whale, so definitely not the Lusca.
So now we're handing it over to you, chief detectives.
What do you think? Are you a Lusca mystery myth buster?
Or a Lusca mystery myth truster?
Ask your grown-ups to send us your voice notes to hello@bustortrust.com. Let us know why you're a myth truster or a myth buster on this case or any of our other cases.
And if you're sending us a voice note or an email, make sure your grown-ups give us permission to use them in future episodes.
Let's see what our chief detectives have to say this week about some of our cases.
Hi, my name is Ada, and I am a truster on the Jersey Devil, because how would anybody mistake a bird for the Jersey Devil, which is like a kangaroo with bat wings? How do you mistake that for a bird or something normal? Also, my mom used to live in New Jersey and says he prefers to be called Ted.
Ada, wow, I can't believe your mum knows Ted personally, but that is the best evidence we have had on the Jersey Devil so far. That is top chief detective work. Jersey Devil exists, and his name is Ted.
He's Ted to friends. To us, he's Jersey Devil.
That's right.
We've not been formally introduced.
That's true. We need to do a trip to Jersey and see if we can become friends.
Hi, my name is Lucy, and I'm on Team Buster for the WOW Signal because I listened to an episode about the WOW Signal on Who Won WOW Mystery Edition, and it turns out that it was actually just a hydrogen cloud, a comet surrounded by hydrogen clouds, and passing in front of the Big Ear Telescope. I love your podcast. Bye!
Hi, Lucy. That is incredible chief detective work. You've listened to our podcast on the WOW Signal, and then you heard Who, When, WOW Mysteries on the WOW Signal, and they've given you further evidence. I'm wondering, are they going to solve all our cases? Maybe they are also chief detectives. This is fascinating.
Oh, we should get them in and fight them. No, not fight them.
Don't fight them, Athena.
Make friends.
Stop fighting all our chief detectives.
I have to be friendly
Even if
with
they're
other
podcasters.
Be
That's
friends,
it.
Athena.
Hi, I'm Bree, and I'm 6 years old, and I'm from North Carolina. I'm a black shark mythbuster because how could the black shark be everywhere at once?
Wow, Bree. Listen, this is very good chief detective work, Bree. But maybe the black shark could be everywhere at once because it's a ghost dog and it can just do what it likes. I think ghost dogs can just turn up wherever they like. They can be watching the TV in one room while going to the toilet in another room while being in the swimming pool. They're ghost dogs, you know?
I know for a fact Bree is making this exact face that I'm looking at you with.
I don't
now.
like this face.
This is the face.
I don't like the face.
It's not good enough, is it, Bree? It's not good enough. It's a good question. Terrible answer. What a fantastic team. We have the best listeners.
We really do. And if you enjoyed the show, please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts for more great episodes.
Subscribers help us make this podcast, and all of our subscribers get a shout out on the show.
This week, we'd like to give a huge shout out to 11-year-old Vega and 7-year-old Leo in Lanzarote, and 5-year-old Tristan, who is always Team Trust. Woohoo!
And to Madison, Oliver, Declan and 8-year-old Felix. An extra special thank you to all of you cheat detectives for supporting the show. Find out how you can support us by heading to bustortrust.com for all the details.
As a subscriber, you get to hear all our extended episodes, ad-free early releases, and we'll give you a behind-the-scenes look into Bust or Trust HQ.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time for more Bust or Trust.
So, Athena, these sinkholes in the Bahamas, right? Why don't they just take away all the sinks? I mean, can't a plumber do that?
No, they're just really deep holes in the sea where water sinks into them, causing a whirlpool.
A bit like when you pull the plug out of a bath.
That's exactly it.
Then why aren't they called bath holes?